What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be taking a look at a title called Legionbound. I like this game. I think this is a really interesting concept that somewhat straddles the line between an army builder, a roguelite, almost like an idle game, but not quite. It definitely requires you to interact with it, and the gameplay is fast enough that there's not going to be any downtime where you're really sitting around doing nothing. And so anyways, in this game, you are assembling the raid party. You know how like World of Warcraft, you got to put together 50 guys or 40 guys to go fight Ragnaros? This game is kind of like that. You are slowly building up a party to ridiculously unhinged extents with up to 50 party members trying to take on as many waves of enemies as you possibly can by stacking up the synergies and evolutions of different classes and putting different relics and stuff on them to accentuate the things that they're really good at while also minimizing their weaknesses. I found the game to be really compelling. I've played it for about 10 hours over the course of the last 2 or 3 days, which is fairly impressive considering the fact that all I want to do right now is play Menace. And so I figured we'd go ahead and dive on in today, play the game for about 30 minutes, and hopefully you guys will be as ensorcelled with it as I was. If after watching this you wanted to get the game for yourself, this is a publicly available demo, so anybody can play this that wants to play it. I'll put a link for you down below in the description. Then on top of that, you can find a bunch of other Nerd Castle links, just in case you wanted to give those the old saucy click. Or you can just request it with no sauce. We're kind of like Burger King around here. Hold the pickles, hold the lettuce. Whatever you want to do, go ahead and do it, but let's play ourselves some Legionbound and see if we have a good time with it. New game! So at the beginning of Legionbound, you're going to have to pick your starting party, and it's up to you what you want to bring along with you. The entire cast is available for you to take a look at. Not all of these classes are going to be unlocked when you first start the game. In fact, I've unlocked every single thing in the game except for the Battle Mage, and that's just because I made a plotting error on my skill list. Something didn't connect that I thought was going to connect, and so I had to go back from the beginning and hit it from a different angle. But I have pretty much every single class unlocked. They all play kind of differently. They all do different stuff, and you're probably going to need a good variety of heroes in order to make your final boss fights and your high wave attempts really work. But for right now, the preset that I've been going with is that I have a Barbarian, very, very good single target damage. I've got a Rogue, once again, very good single target damage, also very fast and very hard to hit. They have a lot of dodge. They can hang out in the front lines. They tend to last the longest out of just about everybody because as they maturate and as their stats go up, they become essentially unhittable over time. I've got the Wizard. The Wizard is kind of a garbage class, so why do I have him here? The Wizard is kind of like Magikarp. He evolves into a different class that is an absolute S-tier headbreaker, but you've got to carry him for a while and have him be useless for a little bit before he's going to turn into that. But the Wizard is essential. It's just you got to get him to his first evolution. The Paladin, he's exactly what you think he is. He stands on the front lines with a claymore, and he's got an aura that makes everybody around him take less damage, which is going to be really important once you get up to high wave levels and things start to get logarithmic on you. And then I've got a Cleric. Nothing too special about the Cleric. He just throws out heals every now and again to keep people alive and make sure that their boo-boos do not become overwhelming. For our first attempt, I think we'll go after the Deep Woods. I think that's what we're going to be able to take care of the easiest for right now, just to get the core gameplay tenets across. But if we have time, I will attempt the Dusty Canyons. I think I've gotten the Deep Woods up to like wave 150, and I've gotten the Dusty Canyons up to like 110. But we'll see if you guys can beat my high scores. The game does have 2 different modes, but one of them is not in the demo right now. I'm guessing the adventure mode is going to give you like a map and challenges and narrative and storyline and stuff like that that affects your heroes, gives them perk, makes them develop in more interesting ways. But for right now, what we're really looking at is just a combat demo that's showing you the core gameplay loop. Let's dive on in. So we arrive inside the Dark Forest. I am going to have to rearrange my party, and as you can see, they're going to start auto-battling and killing everything that stands before us. Now, you can notice there's little coins flying out of these guys, and there's a big higher button up at the top of the screen. That's because we're going to be trying to optimize the amount of money we get so that we can constantly buy the units that give us the synergies that we need in order to progress further on into the game. About every 60 seconds or so, the hiring menu is going to bring in a fresh troop of heroes and a fresh batch of relics that you can take a look at for your perusal to figure out what your strategy is going to be as you get further and further on into the game. For right now, I'm going to grab a couple of heroes because we've got 180 bucks, and it looks like we're very cleric heavy on the front end. I will probably pick up one ranger, The Ranger, he's an AoE specialist. Once he levels up a little bit, he's going to be our AoE specialist. He's going to be firing off. Every character in this game has an auto attack, they have a bonus thing that they do, and they have an ultimate. And all of those things are going to interact with other characters. In the case of the Ranger, he's got like a normal shot that he does. He's got an ultimate that bombs out the entire field with like a rain of arrows and does a screen wipe. And then I forget what his other ability is. The Cleric, he's going to have a heal. Every time he gets hit, he has a passive that makes his heal recharge faster. And then he's got an ultimate that heals everybody on our side. Now, you may have noticed now that we've got our heroes, we've got dark circles, that's going to be the front line, and we've got our back line, which is going to be the light-colored circles. I don't distinctively know the difference between the two because the game doesn't really tell you past the tutorial that, like, melee guys go in the front and then range guys go in the back. However, I have noticed that guys in the back seem to get hit a lot less by melee attacks. They can only really be struck by things that are firing to the back line, like arrows or magic spells or other things like that. Speaking of magic spells, we will get active spells that we can cast on the battlefield a little bit later to help our team along. Things like meteors, fireballs, heals, all that sort of fun stuff so that you can shore up weaknesses in your overall strategy. But for the moment, every single character does have a character sheet. I highly recommend you take a look at these, and you kind of commit them all to memory because they will allow you to get a rough idea what your strategy should be with the party that you're forming. So for example, he automatically dodges the first attack made against him since they last took a swing. He hits an enemy twice, and then he's got Flurry of Knives, which makes, you may have noticed they have the little Final Fantasy VI style active time battle meters over here. Well, every time these go up, they act. His ultimate is that his meter will just go ting, 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 and goes up hella fast for like 6 seconds, and he attacks like 3 times per second. That's sort of like his gimmick, his gag. If we took a look at the Barbarian over here, the Barbarian is a tremendous crowd control and also single target specialist because every time one of your units kills off an enemy, their ATB goes up by like 30%, which means that if you have a good selection of barbarians in your party and you've got a really good kill rate, they should be attacking around the clock, just like bing, 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 so they're kind of like miniguns. So really right now what we need to get in order is that we need to get more mages, and then every single one of these classes has a thing called a synergy with another class. The synergy makes it so that they evolve into an advanced version of the class that they already are. So for example, in the case of the wizard, it turns his auto attack into a big AoE that also stuns the enemy, and it makes him fire off his ultimate like twice as fast. With other classes it'll do different things, but you should expect at least 1 or 2 things to change about them, and they get a big stat boost when they evolve. But let's keep on trucking here. I do need to hire something else, actually. So we've got a rogue and we've got a brawler. I'll take them because it'll keep our kill rate moving, I think. Like, you definitely have to strike a balance in this game between recruiting things that you need, but also making sure that you're killing fast enough that money stays coming in. That's really going to be one of the big conflicts that you're going to have, and as you'll see as we get further on into this run, the amount of enemies and the amount of heroes that we have is going to become ridiculous. You can see right here we have 9 out of 50 guys. That's what I meant by this game's kind of unhinged in that regard. I could kind of pick up a 3rd cleric right now, but I'm going to save my money for the next refresh, I think. What do we have on the next refresh over here? So we've got a samurai. Ooh, an amulet of bloodthirst. Yeah, we have to take that. Okay. The amulet of bloodthirst is one of those things that I always try to take whenever I see it come up because it gives every single person in our party a lighter weight version of what the barbarian already does, meaning that every time an enemy dies, we get 5% added to our meter. And these items do stack. You can get multiples of them to become completely and totally ridiculously overpowered, and that's what I'd like to work towards. So we'll get the amulet of bloodthirst, and then we'll pick up another wizard, I think. From there, we're going to want to start looking for druids. Druids are what cause our wizards to evolve. And so I want to evolve my wizards as soon as possible, and I'd like to have 4 to 5 wizards. By the time we get to like wave 70 or 80, that would be ideal, but we do need to clench up our front line too and get some sturdier characters as well. Now that they've leveled up a little bit, these guys are getting XP for every single enemy that they kill. You will see them level up from time to time. When they level up, their base stats just go up, and they just get sturdier, they have more defense, they have more offense, so on and so forth. But if you wanted to get granular with it, you could take a look at their different stat sheets. What else do we have in here? We had a bard and a samurai. I will take... You know, I'll take the samurai because the samurai's gag is that he does like the anime thing where he goes shing and the enemy has like the blood spurts or whatever. His entire gag is that he attacks the enemy that has the lowest defense out of every single person in the enemy lines, which makes him really good for sniping mages that are shooting at your backline guys later on. So I will take him right before the refresh. On top of that, his ultimate attacks the boss and takes away 25% of their health. So if you have enough samurais and they all have their ultimates lined up, you can basically one-shot bosses instantaneously. Bosses in this game can be a little bit deceptive because they're not meant to be a challenge. Hey, there's our first evolution. Our cleric is now a mender, coming along with like a little graphical change too. So bosses in this game are a little tiny bit deceptive, and what I mean by that is bosses in this game are not meant to be challenging. Instead, they're meant to waste your time so that you're not clearing waves, because you may have noticed this game has a risk of rain style meter up in the top left hand corner of the screen. The game gets worse and it applies multipliers that go straight logarithmic on you at some point if you're not staying ahead of the curve. And so really you want to be able to take down bosses as fast as possible so that you can get back to grinding mobs and getting money if you can possibly help it. There's our druid, there's a wizard, and there is an amulet of deflection. 5% chance to block magical damage. Yeah, I'll take that to my backline people. That'll be helpful. I'm going to put the druid right there. The druid has an aura that makes status effects fall off of everyone around them a little bit faster, and she's giving us the benefit now of evolving our wizards nice and early so that we can just carpet bomb the enemy with AoEs later on down the line. What was the other class that was over here? A knight? I will take the knight. Our front line needs to be a little bit sturdier than it currently is, and the knight has an ultimate that does like a battle cry that I think makes everyone faster. Is that what it does? Yeah, it makes everyone attack faster for a short duration, which can be helpful in little spurts and sprints. On top of that, I think with the knight here, the barbarian can also evolve into their next class, so I will do that very rapidly. Our first wizard has evolved. Keep in mind that you can only evolve one character at a time of a class, so if I evolve one wizard, all the other wizards start over with their evolution process, but different classes can be simultaneously evolved. And so try to keep like a mental reckoning of where you're at with your evolutions. We do need to pick up some more people. I do need another paladin. I do need another ranger. And we've got a ring of warning. That increases our action gauge by 1 whenever an enemy spawns. Let's save up and grab that. That's going to be helpful. This paladin's going to come back here and protect all the casters and increase all their defense so that when the enemy starts bombing out the back line, we'll be a little bit safer. We're going to grab that ring of warning very rapidly because that's going to allow us to increase our action generation, which is very, very important. And then we'll continue getting cash stacked on up because the difficulty is rising on us for right now, and we're starting to get to some of the earlier, stiffer enemies. So I need to stay on task with evolving all of my wizards. With 900 bucks on hand, what else can we get? I will take a warrior. We don't have a warrior right now, and I need frontline guys that can just kind of fill in frontline blue spots. Our samurai just evolved. What you saw right there was the ultimate. I had to pause the game, so you kind of missed the front end of it. But that was the wizard's ultimate right there. Our samurai has evolved into a ninja, which is very good for us because I think the ninja does like a shuriken. Yeah. So it looks like he throws 3 shurikens at the weakest enemy instead of hitting one enemy that's the weakest. And then he also gains action gauge whenever that results in a kill. So that's going to make him quite a bit better. And his ultimate used to only hit 1 enemy, now it hits 3 enemies. So that's super good. And you can kind of see how the arrangement and the assemblage of the game comes together here. And it ends up being something very, very addictive that I've actually been enjoying tremendously. If I could pick up some more wizards, that would be good. A Swashy might be okay. I don't remember what the Swashy's ability does, but I'll take him and I'll take the other paladin. What does the Swashy do? So he has a chance to counterattack. He also strikes 1 enemy in melee with a quick sword slash, and if he's in the front row, he has a 50% chance to counterattack for 10 seconds. Okay, let's put him in the front line. We'll put that paladin over there for a little bit of overlapping defense. I don't know if it stacks, but I feel like it does. You ever get that like gut feeling about a gameplay mechanic? Or maybe you just superstitiously want to believe it deep down inside your tummy bits? That's kind of where I'm at with paladins right now. I'm not going to take the firebomb actually. That's just a consumable that kills 1 wave for you. I don't think we'll need that if we build our party appropriately, and it looks like most of our health gauges are kind of holding up. What did we get for our relic this time around? A Rod of Healing. I don't really care about that. I will take a Bard, and I will take a Ranger, though. That sounds nice. The Bard's going to go in the back line. The Bard has an ultimate that buffs everybody else's action speed for a chunk of time that can actually be kind of helpful and kind of deadly. We'll see how fast we take down the Forest Spirit. Should be pretty rapid, right there with the great timing on behalf of the Wizards, further confirming that Gandalf was right about how Wizards arrive precisely when they mean to. They also ult exactly when they mean to. They're with the Cleric's ultimate right there, and this Forest Spirit is getting absolutely dookied down upon. Now, you may have noticed that there's different types of resources that drop. That crystal right there, they give you Spirit Gems periodically. The Spirit Gems are going to be how you get more metagame progress in this game. There is a Path of Exile style skill tree in this title that you can interact with in between runs. It'll allow you to increase different classes' stats. It'll allow you to increase their strength, their damage, their HP. It'll also give you other little benefits like making your spells cast more frequently. Also, it will unlock new character classes that are sort of gating your progress by not allowing you to access synergies and things like that. So this is one of those games where, like, the first time you try, you probably go to like wave 50. The second time you try, you probably go to like wave 70, and you just kind of keep attempting it in the pursuit of like bigger, better, badder numbers. I'm just gonna wait for that reroll right there because I'm not particularly in love with anything that's on offer at the moment. All right, so that's rerolled. I do want another Barbarian. I do want another Amulet of Deflection. I don't want another Rogue, so I'm going to use one of my rerolls for right now. I do want the Ring of Health, so I'll take that. And then this one we've got kind of like an interesting choice. So the Mercenary is an interesting class that he like gives you way more gold for anything that he scores the killing shot on. He's not particularly strong, he's not particularly damaging, he's not particularly great except for the fact that he allows you to establish an engine for your economy to make enough money to keep, you may have noticed these guys are getting more and more expensive. Mercenaries allow you to build up your economy basically, and you are going to have to sacrifice some gold from time to time in order to make use of them. I'll also pick up the Duelist even though I don't remember what he does. What does the Duelist do? So always attacks the same enemy. Each strike increases his stat until that enemy dies. Okay, so he's a boss killer. Reduces action gauge speed, but when attacked, physically block all damage and then instantly counterattack. I think we can get away with that. Put him up in the front line real quick, and then my other Bard should be in the back line. Where did he go? I lost my other Bard. Has anybody seen a Bard? Do I need to put up some signs or something? Oh, I didn't get a Bard. I got a Mercenary. That's right. Good stuff right there. Definitely take all those goodies. We don't really have a lot of stuff to work with right now in terms of money or offerings, so I'll probably just hang tight for a minute. The good news is I don't see any of our health meters going down, and I don't see any major problems arising with our churn rate. So I think we should be good, although that wave went a little bit slower, but that wave was pretty tanky too. So I don't know if we can judge our progress by that wave. That right there is the Druid's ultimate. Everything that stands inside the doo-doo piles gets itself slowed from the little clock right there, so they attack a lot less frequently, which is good. Losing characters in this game is a big setback because there is no bounce back mechanic in this game that allows you to recover more quickly if you lose a bunch of characters. So try to keep that in mind. We got a Rogue that evolved right there into an Assassin. We also had our Swashbuckler evolve into a Trickster, so that's good. Heroes have refreshed, and we do have a little bit of money. Definitely give me another Wizard. I will take the Boots of Speed because that makes everybody charge up faster just flatly, so that's good. I'll take another Knight as well for the front lines. And so Wizard, you kind of get back there. Knight, you get up in the front line. And as soon as that Wizard evolves, I need like one more Wizard, and then I'll feel pretty confident about our ability to advance through the game. Like, I'm very, very excited that I actually managed to get the stuff that I wanted inside this run, because this game is subject to RNG on a certain level. So with the rerolls, they tend to increase in price very, very rapidly, and so I think it's plus 50% every single time you click on this, and it will go up to the point where it costs you like 5,000 to reroll. There's no decay or anything else on it, so some runs you just kind of like reroll yourself to death trying to get the things you need to flesh out your party, and it never comes up. But this does not look like one of those runs. I think we should be okay. Big bag of gold right there. I'll take that. Sometimes you gotta click, it's like sometimes you gotta mouse over the coins, sometimes you don't. It sort of depends. The metagame currency you definitely have to mouse over, otherwise it despawns. I don't know if I'm in love with that mechanic, but it's a mechanic. Lightning Storm! Good stuff, man. I love lightning magic in video games. Easily my favorite element. I don't know if I want to use a reroll right there or not. Like, we definitely need to keep picking up party members before this escalates too far. But it's about to reroll on its own. Like, I find that doing it at the beginning is better. We become immune to stun. I'll take that now just to get it out of the rotation. I'll take the wizard and the warrior. Put the warrior up front, like anywhere that he'll fit at. And I may try to get another paladin or two to protect the back lines. That's feeling like it may be my next priority. Are any of my wizards about to evolve? I need you guys to evolve real bad. So if you could do that for me. There we go, wizard. The only difference between a wizard and apparently a Magos in this game is just that his beard gets way more bushier. That's it. Everybody knows that a wizard is entirely judged by how bushy that old beard gets. But a wizard should never rock a beard that is lacking a mustache. Never trust anybody whose beard doesn't have a mustache. That's a life rule that I live by. I feel like it's remarkably consistent. So far, it doesn't look like we're taking that much damage, so I think we're still in a good spot. Trust me, this is one of those games that spirals out of control very exceptionally quickly. So, like, you will kill one wave, and then the next wave, your entire front line will die, and you'll kind of have to analyze what went wrong there, and it can be sort of difficult to figure out, because this game isn't, like, crazy opaque with its overall gameplay mechanics. I will take another barbarian. I will take another warrior. I think I'll hold off on another knight, though. I don't think I need another knight right now. What did I just take right there? I forgot. Sorry, a barbarian. Okay, so the barbarian's up top. I will probably try to put the barbarian up there. And you can see, dude, their meters basically go up instantly as we're killing mobs. Just such a fantastic class for churn and burn style gameplay. Absolutely love it. But I do think they have something very addictive on their hands here. Like, I like this. I don't personally get attracted to a lot of idle style games, but this one is active enough with you having to scoop up the gold and also making frequent decisions about what party members you want to add, and also paying attention to the metagame of, like, what do they stack with, like, how do their abilities interact with other abilities, so I'm getting maximum mileage out of here. I do really think that this developer has, like, lightning in the bottle at the moment. Like, I have some suggestions that I think would make the game a lot better, even though it's already pretty damn good. But I'll talk about those in a little bit once we get to our closing thoughts. What are we sitting on right now? Wave 92? Okay, I'm happy with wave 92. Anyone where you make it to wave 100 to me is like a successful run. And it looks like we're not really losing speed yet either. Like, I think we're still killing mobs at the same rate that we were killing the earlier waves too. I will take a Ring of Health. That's another 10% health for everybody. I will take the Hidden Dagger. That gives everybody a 5% chance to counter every single time they're attacked, which is very helpful for getting the DPS up on frontline characters. I got another Archer, and I've got another Mercenary, making sure that we're making lots and lots of money out here. Those big, fat, cheddar stack ducats. We also were rewarded with another Wizard level up, so that's good. I think we've got our 5 Magoses now, or Magi, that are taking care of business and just bombing out. Every time you see one of those blue flames, that's the Magos. They freeze guys with that AoE, and it will take a lot of DPS off your front lines. It really sincerely will. It makes a huge difference between hitting like wave 100 and hitting wave 150, just having a solid core of Magoses. I do think we're going to need some more healers, actually, now that I'm looking. We only have 2 clerics right now. I'm surprised I've made it this far with 2 clerics. I made actually a very big miscalculation right there. Let me fish for clerics. No cleric, but we did get another Amulet of Bloodthirst. There's a cleric. I'll take you right now, sight unseen. I think I'm going to need another paladin for, like, right here. I think this would be a good spot to have another paladin. And then I think once we've got that locked in, we just turn the game speed up and kind of see how far they go. Like, we're at 33 out of 50 right now, and we've pretty much killed all the bosses for this map. We shouldn't get a new one anytime soon, I don't think. But if I do see another cleric come up, I'm not going to turn him down. Very well-timed lightning blast right there. Absolutely love that. Good stuff, man. That was the perfect moment to deploy that ultimate and thin out the field. If we're going to lose somebody, it's going to be right here. This is a very, very thick wave. Like, this is a double C thick wave, but it looks like we got through it without any major problems. Because the game is moving very quickly, it does have a giant pop-up notification whenever one of your guys dies, so you will be aware of it when guys start going down and getting trundled. I'll take another Ring of Health. I will take magic damage up by 10% too. That's very nice. Another Amulet of Bloodthirst. Okay. Now we're cooking with fire, man. We might even be cooking with propane and propane accessories out here. Hell yeah, dude. Let's speed her up ever so slightly and see how this goes, because we're kind of getting towards the end of the video anyways. Are we holding? I think we're holding, man. AoEs are getting people? All right. I don't see any fail points cropping up just yet. You'll start to see health bars go down when it gets bad, so like, I feel like we're in a good spot. We've got clerics evolving, everything's going well, but let me go ahead and give you, what are we looking at as far as recruits go right now? Nothing. I don't know if I want to continue refreshing and just building up deflection amulets. We could pick up another healer. Yeah, I could do that. Another frontliner, maybe another bard too. I'm kind of at the point where I don't really have a strategy. I'm just grabbing stuff as it comes up. We are going to have to fill up this little middle gap over here, though, before too long. Another Evo right there. Selectivity could use a little bit of work. Sometimes with all these overlap characters on this left-hand side, it can be very difficult to snipe the guy in one click that you want to snipe in order to upgrade him or level him up. On top of that, I would also like the game to have a pause mode where I can just pause and move things around without having to worry about the enemy crowding up on me. That would be very much appreciated. 7,000 gold on hand. I will take the Amulet of Deflection, reroll it again. Comet Spell. Hey, there's the Paladin that I was hoping we would get. Reroll it one more time. Boots of Speed, also quite good. And then I wanted you right there, just to make sure everybody's got overlapping defensive grids. And while they actually auto-battle, let's see how far we go, but I think I'll do my closing thoughts here. So along the suggestions front, I think my only complaint about this game is that it isn't very opaque with its mechanics, meaning that once you clear the tutorial, there's no way to go back and review that information and refresh your memory on what each stat does, what frontline versus backline does, all that kind of stuff. If you forget, there's no way to look it back up from what I can tell inside the game. I like to get granular and theorycraft with games, and it looks like you have a glossary planned on your main menu. So this might be one of those requests that solves itself. But yeah, I just wanted more information on how everything works. From unit placement to like the individual stats. I like to get in there and get crunchy. After that, 3 relics on offer in the store along with the 3 heroes per reroll, I think would work a bit better. So yeah, the rerolls need to be a lot cheaper or they need to decay over time. And from there, I think I'll move on to things that I hope the game has on release. I'd love to see hero combining, fusion style, Dragon Ball Z style. So for example, if you have 2 paladins and 2 clerics, you evolve all 4 of them, you get the option to transform them into a final evolution that takes all 4 characters and turns them into like an angel or a scion of heaven that only takes up 1 slot. Likewise, if you have like 5 mages evolved, you can combine all 5 mages into an archmage. He only takes up 1 slot, but he has the killing power of 4 evolved mages with a cool flashy sprite. I think that would be really compelling. I'd like to see the same thing for items too. It'd be cool to bring in kind of like a MOBA style thing where you can combine items together into better versions that specifically enhance certain classes or something else like that. But by and large, I actually really like this title. I think this is great. I had a really good time playing it. I put in about 7 hours, I think, between 7 and 10 hours anyways, over the course of the last few days, just in my free time. And that's impressive considering the fact that all I've been doing lately is playing Menace. I have Menace up to like 40 hours of gameplay now. I've just been binging it like crazy, and this has been the only game that's actually pulled me off of it. But let's go take a look at the metagame progression real fast, and then we'll close it out. So this is the metagame progress right here, now that I've done my closing thoughts. It's not that big at the moment, but I'm guessing it's going to get a whole lot bigger. But every single one of these nodes gives stat increases to certain classes, or it makes them perform in a better way. So like your warriors get more flat chance to block all damage. You know, your casters have a chance to do this or that, so on and so forth. The characters are really the big thing that you're targeting on here. And given the amount of stuff that's actually not unlocked yet, like in the adventure mode, like if we scroll down here to the extended party, it says that we've got peasants on this side. I don't know what mechanic that's going to fold on into. And then, of course, if we look at the actual unit roster, there are so many classes that we haven't had a chance to play around with yet that I'm guessing it's going to be a pretty enormous skill tree as you go further on into the game. I like the game quite a lot. I've put a lot of time into it over the course of the last 5 or 6 days. Whenever I've got a free minute for like a 20-minute run, I've been going for it. But this is Legionbound. My name is Splat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so that you don't have to. Today it was Legionbound. Tomorrow to be something else. Bye, folks.